Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts, Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hey, welcome back to the Ages of Rock podcast. Bill, Dennis, and Alan here.
Hi, everyone!
Again? What the hell?
2 weeks in a row. We need to probably... Oh, no.
Well, last week we were all three there, but
we were all three there, but
form.
we were separate yet together.
You know what's kind of cool though for me though? I did not hear other than my interview. I was there actually. I fetched a water for Eric.
You fetched a water for Eric, and you went across the damn stadium, and Brad got it like 3 feet away out of his cooler.
For free, and mine was $7.
Yours was $27.
And then Alan's, of course, was done the day before, so I didn't hear any of it. So actually, for me, that episode, other than my interview, was all new to me. So I enjoyed it, hopefully as much as everybody else did. So
yeah, cool.
I enjoyed my part.
I thought mine went pretty well. I mean,
you did. All three of them. I think all three of them went well.
Eric's a talker. I mean,
he is. And you just got to
actually. Well, now here's my favorite part about Eric being the talker is his handler was like 5 more minutes. So I'm like signaling Bill and Eric 5 minutes. And then she's like 2 more minutes. So I'm signaling Bill and them 2 more. And then they're talking. And finally Eric turns around and he's like, I'm done when I'm done. And he went right back to the interview.
What you probably couldn't see was him going,
right.
He just kept every time. He just like she'd say so many minutes, and he'd just kind of roll his eyes a little bit. Like, it'll be done when I'm damn well ready for it to be done.
No, he was very entertaining to listen to, and Steve Rochelle was one of those people too. You wind him up and go, I really honestly didn't know much about Tough. I knew more about Metal Sludge, and then also him being on the Western, the Decline of Western Civilization Part 2. I remember that part of it, but Tough was not a band that was in my radar, so I really didn't have a lot to say. And what's funny is on that interview, if you notice, other than me, I was glad that Alan wanted us to do these little these introductions, because when we started recording, he shot off like a rocket, dude, and I didn't even get his name, nothing. He just started talking. It was like, it's like I didn't get to say our name, his name. It was just like boom.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was putting it together, I was going to find a good spot that I could cut that off so that it start. And nope, there is no good spot.
he was off to the races at that point. But he's a really nice guy, and I had a good time talking to him and learned a lot. He's got a lot of information. He's been around for a long time and had a lot of information. So
yeah,
it was a good interview. So if you haven't seen that show yet, go back and
check it out.
Yeah.
And if you have seen it, share it.
Exactly.
Share it with a buddy.
Yeah.
Or share it with somebody you don't like. It's probably the right thing to do.
Now that I say that,
sharing is caring.
That's right.
I don't think I shared that this week. I need to get on.
I'm pretty sure I did. I shared it.
I was busy this week, but
yeah, well. All right. So this week, what we're gonna do is we found another list of albums that somebody sent us from 1990. And so what we're going to do, for those of you that are old like us, we'll call it that. Right. You guys remember the old K-Tel, all the hits, they'd put 27 songs on, an LP, and they'd all sound like garbage. But anyway, they get as many on there as possible. So we got 12 records that came out in 1990. So we're going to talk about each one of them first, and then we're going to talk about our K-Tel record that we put together, along with a very fancy title that would that each one of us have come up with, or lack of fancy title, and we're just going to say what it is and see what happens.
And once again, there was no rules on this one. There was no rules on how you put this record together. And everybody
the songs that were on there.
Well, yeah, but I went through. I did mine in a different way, so it's going to be interesting.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that, because I did 2 albums.
Oh,
Well, I did one album and I only used the singles because that's all the K-Tel ever put on that record. So I kind of followed the K-Tel formula.
Yeah, well, I went.
Well, that's fine. You could go as deep as you want. I just went with the K-Tel formula.
Well, anyway, when you hear mine, it will fit the K-Tel formula. Both.
There you go.
Before we get to that, we do have some news and we have some other things. And you got a concert or two you went to, Bill? 3 or 4 or 10?
I don't know. Yeah, like a couple weeks ago, I went to like.
And for everybody who's wondering and who was really worried about it, Yes Online finally got my record to my house. It was actually after Bill got his. It was a couple days actually after Bill got his. That's probably the last mofo. They probably heard our show. They said, "You know what? Dennis's is going out last."
That's exactly what happened. They listened to the show.
And you know what? It's still sealed. I haven't opened it up yet. So it's like I don't know why they rushed it to get here because I've listened to it on Spotify, but I just haven't done the album yet. But
yeah, I think it's
I did get it.
It's amazing though. It's recorded on like like the fastest speed possible. I think.
Is it?
Well, yeah, they can't play it any faster. Every song is played at breakneck speed. I mean,
it's like I was checking I was checking the RPM on my record player.
I'm like, I think I've got this on the wrong speed.
I think it's going like 37.
You guys have seen Animalized Live Uncensored. They played those songs fast that whole era.
We're trying to be funny.
We're just trying to be funny.
But I think my turntable is like at a 37 RPM.
Now, if you ever get a chance, if you think those recordings are fast, there is a soundboard recording from the Asylum tour from Charlotte in 1985 that makes those things sound like they're 78 RPM.
Wow.
I mean, and I think just somebody put it to CD wrong. Or they pitch corrected it incorrectly or something, because I mean those songs are breakneck fast.
Yeah, and you almost some of that point. There were points in the one I just listened to part of. I haven't listened to all of it yet, but it's like we just got to get this over with. This is kind of like the mentality. It's like, okay, we're gonna hit go, and then just balls out. It's on.
Must have been a party backstage that night.
Who knows?
That or they wanting to get Bruce back on.
Well,
anyway, we need to go. We need to sit through, and actually, we need to go through that record at some point, and we'll talk about it in length. Anyway,
okay. Well, we can do that sometime. All right.
So we want to. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that's all right. Go ahead.
I was just going to bring up some stuff that's happening. Well, before we get into, but our friends Stephen Burnett from Pump 5's album is out today, or in the last day or so. It's out now on all platforms to listen to. I've been listening to it today. It's spectacular. Really like it. I'm waiting for, I think they're going to be having some vinyl made at some point, but of course, you know how vinyl is. It takes a little bit longer to get it done, but it's Paradise Place is the name of the album. But you can get it on Spotify for free, or you can go to iTunes and you can buy it, or any like I said, any platform that's streaming, you can listen to it there. But if you love or like Pump 5, check them out. It's good. We need to have those guys back on and talk about the album, and they were just in Nashville. Of course, it was a weeknight show. The problem is, and they were like an opener for like there was 3 or 4 bands, and they were early, and there was just no way I could make it down there in time. I wanted to go so bad. It was the closest place that they were going on this short tour.
Yeah, and, I had planned to go to that show and I missed it.
It was on the 20th, and I hate that. So, I'm gonna give him a shout here pretty soon. See when the vinyl is coming out, or even I want to buy a CD or something. I want a T-shirt or something. But keep those guys, support them. But like those guys, and I like the new album. It's good. First 3 songs are just bam, bam, bam. Like it. So
I did go do a couple of shows this past week.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, I guess it was 14th. I went to see that Arena Rock show. We've had one of the guys. It was a former bass player on the show.
Right.
And you could tell that because the bass player they had with them this time didn't seem to really know his way around the stage yet. He looked very
green
lost.
Yeah, a little lost. I mean, he played okay. He was fine. But he looked a little lost. Unfortunately,
that's kind of what bass players do, though.
Well, no. He was like really lost, dude. Like,
okay,
I'm not kidding. It was like, but he played well. Just one of those kind of things. I think it was a timing thing. But it was in the shithole. Sorry, it was in the deluxe room, which is also a shithole.
It's the deluxe shithole.
It's a deluxe shithole at the Murat. So I'm telling you, people, if you ever see a show that says, because this was said it was at everything I read, it was in the Egyptian room. Well, we get to the venue, which is the Murat Theater, Old National Center in Indianapolis, and there's nobody's there. There's like one truck, and it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before showtime, and there's like 3 people checking people in. I mean, it was weird. I'm like, there is nobody at this show. So we go in, and I think we're going to the Egyptian room, and I go to turn the corner to the Egyptian room, and it's barricaded. And I'm like, okay, are we at the wrong place? And I totally screwed this up. I mean, it's like, what the hell happened?
Right.
And I'm looking around, and I'm like, where's the show? And they're like, oh, it's down. It's, they said, well, you just got to go downstairs. I'm like, oh my God. Because I went to a show there one time, and I said, I'll never go to another show down there because it's just horrible. And so sure enough, that's where it was. And actually, it wasn't too bad because we stood in a different place than I was the first time, so it wasn't terrible. But overall, so they're really kind of they're like a Hairbangers Ball kind of show, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But they do a little more like the lead singer when they do Alice Cooper. He dresses, puts like a tuxedo hat on and a tuxedo jacket, kind of how Alice does.
Kind of like Hairball does a little bit more of the
kind of a Hairball thing, but not as much of that as Hairball. Sure. Not as least of that as what Hairbangers Ball does. So it was just kind of in the middle. But overall, the band wasn't bad. But I do have to admit, I feel like I was cheating. So the next time we have Brian Turbin on the show, or I see Brian somewhere, I'm going to have to confess my cheating. Because I feel like I was cheating on my buddies from Hairbangers Ball. So that won't happen again because I'm not going to go see them again. I was not that impressed.
So that was what was. So that's what I was going to ask you, because when you were talking about going to the Old National Center, and then you said when you said you went to that room, I was thinking, well, it must be the Egyptian room, but they changed the name, because I thought that venue only had the main theater, which I've been to. Oh, I see. I didn't know they had a third.
They have 3.
I thought that the Egyptian room was that small, long basement place, but that's a different room.
That's the deluxe room.
Gotcha. I thought they had 2 venues there,
which is not deluxe.
I've been in the
3.
We've been to the event. We saw Whatchamadoodle up there, and
you gotta have to get a little more narrowed down there, buddy.
Oh, the guy that I've seen 6 times that I can't
Amos
name
Lee.
one song. Amos Lee. There you
go. We know anyway. we know his sorry ass. You don't.
But the venue, the theater is very nice. Oh, she knows that. She knows. I know. She goes, how can you see
the theater is really nice because they have touring musicals in there, and they have
Reminds me of the Victory. It's kind of it's a small, nice theater.
Yeah, it's old and it's pretty cool. Yeah, and
But
then they
I've
have the
never been in
Egyptian
the
room, which is just a large, very large room with a stage in it. And you can see they have bands there. I saw Great White and some of those guys there, and then we went to see midget wrestling there. You can see everything there.
I'll skip the midget joke. Sorry.
Dude, it was hilarious.
I bet it was. Anyway, did they have Mini Kiss open up?
We only stayed a short time though.
Okay. They had a very small card that night.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving right along.
Moving right. Since we've offended half the audience, since we offended the other half the audience.
Oh, like we got a bunch of short.
Yeah, said a half, right? So remember, down to 3, and then so.
Wow,
and then they have the deluxe room, which is in the very basement. So if you ever keep going down the stairs, you're going
to hell
because that's where you go. Anyway. Gotcha. So I saw that on Friday night. Saturday night, I had a buddy of mine, Brian Mullins, who plays in a band called Mulligan. That let's see, I had a sticker there somewhere here. I don't know what I did with it. Dang it.
Mr. Unprepared.
No, it was right here.
Oh,
but see, we had all these people at my
I'm glad
house,
you
and
had pants
you
on.
almost,
they
you
moved
almost
my
saw your
shit.
junk.
You did not almost see my junk. You'd be like, so Milligan, it's not Mulligan, it's Milligan.
Milligan.
There you
Okay.
go. Yep. And
Is that
so
like
they
hooligan? I'm a
kind of, but
milligan.
Brian plays with them. Brian's so it's kind of interesting. It's a couple of young guys in their 20s. Brian's in his 50s. He plays drums. And then I think one of the guys' dads plays bass, so he's probably in his 50s or 40s or something like that. They were really, really good. They did some
Good.
covers, did a lot of covers, but they did a lot of twists to them,
Cool.
which was really kind of cool. They did "Baby I'm Amazed" and did a really, really, really good job. Um, there's a couple of songs that most people should just stay away from.
Kind of a classic rock, basically
Yeah,
cover.
but it was more of a kind of a jazz twist or a little bit
That's
of
weird. Huh.
I mean, it was just kind of different. It was really good. It was really good.
There's a lot of that goes on now. I
Yeah,
mean,
I was
they
just
take
tired,
right.
and I would have loved to have stayed and watched the second part of the set, but after they did their first set, I was like, I gotta go because
Right.
I was outside all day. And then Tuesday we went to see the best effing band in the world, because that's what they're billed whenever you go in the theater, which was
Right.
Cheap Trick. So we went to see them for, I don't know how many time it was, because
Where were they at then? Was that Brown County?
They were at the Brown County Music Center.
Yeah.
Place was packed.
Wow.
On a Tuesday night.
Wow.
We had 12th row seats center,
Wow.
real close to center. A buddy of mine
Nice.
was not able to go, so he said, "Hey, just go." So Lisa and I went, and great show as you would expect.
They're always good. Always good.
Was interesting because the last time I saw them, Robin Zander's son played little guitar for a little bit.
Sure.
I think Tom Peterson's son might have come out then too. There was a couple, and then Rick Nielsen's son obviously is the drummer.
Right.
But the boys that are the guitar players did not, the other guys did not play. So it was just the four of them. Played an hour and a half, right at an hour and a half or so.
How cool.
And just really good. It was a really good show. And they pulled out all kinds of crap. I mean, they just pull stuff out and you just kind of go, where'd that come from? They're
not Kiss. They will
pretty
change
deep.
the
No,
no.
there is no. And half the time Rick Nielsen's going, we don't know what the hell we're doing up here. So give us a minute. And they go over and they talk for a minute and they come back and somebody goes, okay,
well, that's good. That's exciting though. That makes me come back,
Yeah, whatever somebody wrote on that paper, that's not what we're doing.
I think going back to the Suns, I think that I read something that Robin Zander's son's got a solo project going on now.
Cool. Oh, cool. Nice.
He may have just put an album out or something.
Well, good for
him.
I
saw something. I don't know exactly what it was because I'm not the hugest Cheap Trick fan.
Yeah, I listen to their stuff and things like that. I don't really follow them much on social media and stuff, but it was a really good show. They did a great job as expected. Robin sounds great. So, the Robin proves to me that this whole thing that people lose their voice over time and stuff like that, I think he must take care of his differently than other people, because
I was going to say how you take care of your body. I think
I think that's part of it, because he
sounded
just have that. He still sounds really good.
Longevity though too. I mean, it's just they've been
around for a day.
Sammy still has a good voice. He's been around forever. There's a
Gene
lot of
still has a good voice. Actually,
he still has a good voice. It is what it is. I mean, just some people are lucky and.
Yep. So that was my tour. That was my 3 shows in 5 days. So
that's great.
It was fun.
Thank you all. See you next week.
Alan, you want to mention the sicknesses this week?
I'm not down with any sickness.
No, I know.
Going to see them in September.
Disturbed?
Yep.
Really?
In Indy.
Wow.
See, I'm not a big Disturbed fan. Not a big Disturbed fan, but that's just mine. That's just me.
I just want to hear that song in a concert venue as loud as hell. Right. To be perfectly honest, that's all I care about.
Now, I like their cover of Land of Confusion.
Yeah, I like a lot. I do like a lot of their stuff. Actually, the new record's pretty good. But yeah, Alex and I have been trying to go to that show for I don't know how long.
That's cool.
3 years, because it got COVID, delayed twice. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be cool. It'll be cool. So
I guess we need to give a shout out to our brothers, Phil Schaus and Christopher Williams on the Accept tour. I guess both of them got food poisoning and I guess Phil got really sick on the airplane, and they had to
collapsed and had to
collapse and take him off the airplane on a gurney. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, he was pretty.
But
sick.
He did post on Facebook today that he is still alive and well, and he is recovering, and he'll be back soon. So,
right. He said he was ripped now.
Yeah, well, he said he was ripped because he hadn't eaten in 4 days or something like that.
He's got a sense of humor back, but
he didn't
even go. But I guess Christopher actually went to the venue, was going to try to play, and then the doctors just said, "Look, you don't need to be out there." So they put the drum tech up there that supposedly knows all the songs and can do a good joke or good do a joke.
Do a good joke.
I'm sorry, I don't know what the hell I was saying. But anyway, got up there and played and did a good job. But when you're traveling like that, you never know what you're gonna get food from God knows where and how it's prepared and who knows. And I tell you what, I've had food poisoning. I've had light versions of it, gas station sandwiches, this, that. And I was at a wedding and I got so bad, I thought I was going to die. I kind of wished I would have died that night, but I got up the next morning and but I threw up more than I couldn't throw up anymore.
That happened to me once in Germany on the way to a White Lion concert, and
that'd make you throw up anyway.
It got to the point that I thought death has got to be better than this.
Yeah, I did.
Thankfully, I didn't death though.
Yeah. Well, Accept hasn't had much luck lately. They had Mark got sick on the tour in America, or in was it America? He got sick. Yeah, he had some dates in America. Lost his voice a couple times, and I think there were some dates over in Europe that were an issue. So they've not had the best luck in the world, that's for sure.
Hey, real quick too, since I got one thing too from the last we did this masterpiece albums. I want to send a shout out to Bruce Koch. Was it Croak? Yeah, Croak. He mentioned Foreigner's first album, and I had pulled that out, and I'm like going, God damn, that is a masterpiece album. I've listened to it probably 3 times since then. And then Michael Charles put on here Tesla's Psychotic Supper. I have not had a chance to listen to that one, and I'm going to put that on my list next. But yeah, Foreigner's first album, I had completely forgot how good that album is. It's spectacular. So,
now, I can't remember which album that it was because it totally slipped my mind. But Brian Harris posted a comment on our YouTube page.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Operation Mindcrime, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and
that was surprised. Bill,
there you go, Brian. I didn't forget.
I had Operation Mindcrime on my list, but it was down. Yeah, after I started getting the list together, it kind of moved itself down. But real quick, that is a good record.
Did you hit any of the record store day things up in Indy? I know you said
I went to 3 record stores, and really the only thing I was looking for was I wanted the Eric Carr record. I didn't really care about anything else, and I was 30 minutes late to getting it in Franklin. I had to stick around here and help Lisa with getting some stuff ready for a party, and then I went. But in the other store I went to decided this year not to participate in Record Store Day. Really? And then the third place I went, I had to stand in line even to get to the Record Store Day stuff, and he said they only had 2 copies and they were gone a long time ago. So
I thought you already had that.
I have the Rockology, but it had a different packaging and some different things to it. So it wasn't.
But it's the same album, though, right?
I think it's very much the same record, but it had a couple different posters inside of it, and the cover looked like the solo covers, which on the Rockology it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, on the Rockology CD, it's him leaning over his drums with a pair of sticks in his hand.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is.
Way back in the day when I used to.
I know down here in Evansville, as far as
hey,
Atmospheric Collectibles.
Alan was actually talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought sorry.
If it makes you feel any better, Laura does that to me too.
Go ahead, Alan. I'm sorry.
No, way back in the day when I was running Harris to the 80s, Eric's sister sent me a bunch of those Rockology CDs as giveaways for my station. That's how I got my copy. It's pretty cool. There's got some. I think there's a couple good songs Tour. The Eyes of Love. I really like that song, and I think there's a song on there called Tierra. I like that one pretty well.
I've never heard any of that.
And I haven't listened to that in a long time, but
you have a CD, and then I bought the vinyl.
Yeah,
they put the vinyl out a couple of years ago. So, and I think the money. I think the family put or Bruce put the Rockology album out. And the money went back to the family, so I bought one of those too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I knew that they had come out one time before, and I just wondered what this one was. If it was something really new, or if it was just a kind of a re-release with some extras in it. So, but no, I didn't end up going. I know that Atmosphere Collectibles here in town, they had a line out the door. There were people there for almost a day and a half waiting to get in. Of course, Brian was one of them, and I think he helps out too in the store. And they said that Space Monkey was the same way. They had almost 100 and something people waiting outside the door. I mean,
yeah, there was some stuff that was
crazy. I mean, that's crazy people.
Yeah. There was some stuff that was kind of unique, but it wasn't. I mean, like the Van Halen. There was a Van Halen Right Now live album.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot. I mean, that was right. Something I did see that they actually had it in my hand, but it was way expensive. Like, was it $100 or $85? I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And that couple other things. There was an Elvis Presley record that was the Elvis Presley, that was the demo tapes for the Burning Love record, which looked really cool. And I held on to that for a little bit, but I'm like, I don't know that I need this. This is like, I don't know. There's no point. So, but the big thing, I was talking to the people at the record shop in Indy, at Square Cat Record, and I said, what was the big deal? Because he said, I'm telling you, we'd never have had this many people in the store, I mean, or lined up for record day. Taylor Swift had a record that came out that day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, and I was there at like 12:30, there were 6 copies left. And when I left the store at 1:15, no copies left.
Wow.
And I don't know how many they got. They must have gotten a lot. I'm pretty sure that record they probably put, normally I think the Eric Carr thing was 1,500 or 2,000 copies. It wasn't a lot. And I'm sure for hers, they put out, 2 million. And so 2 million, if it sold out that fast, it's not surprising.
That's crazy.
But the thing about it is they'll be in the trash by noon because people that they bought them don't even know how to operate a record player. So there you go. just my opinion.
Crazy.
All right. You guys want to talk about this thing?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm done with news and everything else.
So our plan was to talk about each record. Do we want to talk about each record? Do you want me to just talk about list each record and then we just list the albums? Just list the albums. Okay.
Or just call it,
Okay. So there were 12 records in this list. So the first record that was on the list was and I can tell you the singles off the records because I have that. So is Poison, Flesh and Blood. Right. It was Unskinny Bop, Life Goes On, Ride the Wind, and Something to Believe In were the singles off that record. There might have been one more single, but that's the singles that I saw.
Sure.
That was the first record. The second one was Extreme's Porno Graffiti, which had More Than Words, Get the Freak Out, and Wholehearted. Those are 3 songs that were on that record that came off that record.
It's not freak, it's funk, F-U-N-K.
Get the funk out. Yeah.
Did I say freak?
You did.
Freak.
Oh, it's written funk.
Get the funk out.
I just decided to call it something different. Damn it.
It's supposed to be something else, but they use funk instead.
I think you're right. Slaughter, Stick It In Ya, which was
Stick It To Ya.
I like Stick It In You better.
Depending on who you say that to.
Hey, I am hosting this damn show. It'll be whatever the frick I called these things.
All right,
depending on who you're talking to, though, that's what you got to worry about.
Whatever. All right. It's All Night. No, I'm just kidding. Up All Night. This is the single.
Right.
And then Fly to the Angels. The next record is Winger. In the Heart of the Young. That's the name of the title.
Right.
He's trying to make sure he doesn't get any more wrong.
No, I can't read my writing. That one is good. Easy Come, Easy Go is the single off that one. Right. And then Rat Detonator, which is Shame, 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 Loving You's a Dirty Job, and Give Yourself Away. Those are 3 songs off that record. Every Mother's Nightmare had a single called Love Can Make You Blind.
Okay. Dad's a Liar. Oh, wait, you said love, not something else.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, then Cinderella's Heartbreak Station.
Man, this is just turning into a shit show.
Isn't that a disease you can get? They got to get penicillin for Cinderella.
Yeah. Cinderella's Heartbreak Station has Shelter Me and Heartbreak Station title track. All right. Love Hate is Blackout in a Red Room.
Okay.
And that was that single, and then they had another single called Why Do You Think They Call It Dope? And I don't have a clue, and I didn't listen to it. Warrant. This is Cherry Pie.
Little album called Cherry Pie.
They only had like 1 or 12 singles off of it. I don't know. But there was Cherry Pie, Uncle Tom's Cabin, I Saw Red.
Gangbusters.
Yeah. God Lord. Oh, You're the Only Hell Your Mama Ever Raised. That was the other song that was off that record too. Came out.
Okay.
Then there was Lynch Mob that had Wicked Sensation. Mm-hmm. Firehouse had Don't Treat Me Bad, All She Wrote, and Shake and Tumble. Okay. Don Dokken, his solo record called Up From the Ashes, which had Mirror Mirror, Win Some. I don't know what the hell that is. Anyway, and Crash and Burn. Okay. I don't even know what that says.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that is all of them. That's 12. So our goal was tonight was to create off of those records our K-Tel record of 12 songs.
We're making our elementary to high school record.
So here's what we need to do is you need to say the name of your album and what your criteria was. And then we'll go through those albums again and you'll pick and then you'll tell the songs from that album that you.
That sounds very confusing. So you want me to do what? Tell the name of what I called my record?
We'll each go around and we'll say, this was the name of my album. And here was my criteria. Here was why I picked these songs. And then we'll just go through that list again and we'll say which song it is off the album. We do this, we're going to be swapping back and forth. That's what I was trying to get to the other day.
We're not swapping anything back and forth. I know you guys.
Anyway,
there's no way in hell we're doing that.
No. Anyway, I got a whole different outlook on this one. So I went.
Okay, so
it'd be funny if me and Dennis did the same thing.
I think we maybe did. That's what's going to be really funny. That's because I'm going to laugh my ass off. We did.
Okay, so knowing this was 1990,
right,
and what was happening in 1990 with music, right?
Right.
My album is called Here Today, Gone Tomorrow.
You motherfucker!
Did you take his name? Are you serious?
I just said that. But that is clever. I was trying to come up with something about the hair, but that's
but basically so your criteria for this album was what? Just like a regular K-Tel album, the hits off of these records?
Yeah, it was just the hits off the record, and it really, when I went back and looked after I wrote all this shit down, I went back and looked, and it's like, right after this stuff, it was pretty much this record, the record from 91, 92, and then it's pretty much, it's all over after that.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what my record was called, and that was my criteria. I took singles off this record and I put them on a K-Tel record, including the shitty songs, because every K-Tel record has shitty songs.
Right.
Okay. Now, I didn't necessarily pick singles off the record. I picked songs I liked off the record.
Well, that's okay. You can do it however you want to do it. Okay. It's your record, dude. You can do whatever the hell you want.
What was the name of your record, Mr. Tate?
I couldn't come up. I told y'all earlier I was not clever today.
Okay.
His is Blank Slate.
Blank Slate. It's just K-Tel 1990.
Well.
Okay. So mine, here was my criteria. We'll go ahead. What?
Nothing.
Oh, Alan, your criteria, you just picked the ones you liked, right?
I picked, yes.
Okay. So mine's similar to yours, but not quite. So mine is K-Tel presents Deep Cuts 1990. So
those aren't deep cuts.
No.
Oh, yours are deep cuts.
Yes. My criteria was I could not use any song that was a hit on these albums. And it really sucked because I love Uncle Tom's Cabin and I want to hear that song as many times as I could, or I saw Red. So what I did was I went through every fucking song on every fucking album and it may have been only 10 seconds or 20. I kind of skimmed through them, but I picked out the
it's
ones.
usual, like the thing you usually do. 10, 20 seconds.
No. I just started yesterday, so I had to go through 12, but I did. But anyway, and then I went through and I'm like,
today.
well, and the thing was, I had now out of these albums, I'll give you this. I had the Firehouse album. I had a CD of Cherry Pie. I also had Slaughter's Eye to Eye. Listened to that a million times. I had the Extreme album. So I had four of the 10 albums. Is it 10 or 12?
12.
12. So I had four. I had a four or a third of these albums. So
actually, I had a lot of them.
But anyway, so what I did was I went through and then I picked what I thought was the best song that wasn't a hit.
Okay.
The best deep cut off of an album. So this is my K-Tel's deep cuts.
Okay.
1990. You get in the deep cuts. I'm going.
Well, I think we got it. Thank you, Vanna.
And see, and I want my album cover to look like a canyon, but it's really going to be a girl's.
Did you see my wife give you guys a hand job? You see that? I mean, a wave. This is a wave.
No, but my K-Tel deep cuts album is going to be it looks like a canyon, but it's really like a girl.
Yeah, that's what you said.
It's going to be kind of a.
Yeah, we got it.
But at least
say it slow. Say it slower though. No, not that part, dumbass.
All right, well, let's get this show started.
Let's get on. Let's get it. So how are we going to do this?
Bill's going to pick who goes first.
No, you just read yours. Read yours, Dennis.
You want me to read what I got? My whole album in
yes.
it, and I actually
I like that.
So what I did was
read it in its entirety, and we will make fun of it.
I swapped one song around because I wanted it to be first because it's got a. So my first song on the album is "Down in Flames" by Don Dokken. And I like it when you first do it. There's something on there. This is not a simulation. There's something that keeps repeating. I thought this sounded kind of cool. All right, so then the next song on it is "The Valley of the Lost Souls" from Poison. I'd never heard that song before, and I thought it was actually It's a pretty good guitar. And of course, for me, I like songs that got really good guitar riffs. So that's what I'm looking for. My third song here is, of course, Extreme's "He-Man Woman Hater." That's a great song off that album. I used to have that album.
I had a friend that had that album and played the shit out of that song.
Yeah, I think it's of course, Gary Sharon, but Uno is he's just Nuno is and this new album that just came out with is spectacular. All right, so Rat, boy, I tell you what, that was a tough one. You take the hits out. Giving Yourself Away is what I ended up with that one. I mean, it is, and that's kind of a slow one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And so, because I had to throw a slow one in there, we had to do that. So anyway, because of course, they've got a little bit of a ballad here and there. All right, so I got the Slaughter, and of course, Eye to Eye. Kelly and I, we just bought a brand new Honda Accord 2-door with 5-speed, and with a CD player in it. First CD player we had. We had this disc. We played this disc all the time. And Eye to Eye is a great song. I forgot how good Slaughter was. I ended up listening to most of that album again yesterday. All right, so the next one up is Winger and "You Were a Saint and I Am a Sinner." I thought that was a pretty good. Of course, you've got.
You ripped that off of Gene.
Well, I'm sure it is, but anyway. All right, so we got to Love Hate. I tell you what, you could either love or hate it. That album, I don't know even how. That's probably my least favorite album on this whole bunch. But there was a song called "Tumbleweed," and it's got some pretty good curl guitar licks in it, and I picked that one. Warrant, that was a tough one because I love this album, and of course, me, any of those hits are great ones, but Sure Feels Good to Me. I hadn't really heard that in a long time. I'm like going, Janie Lane's voice and that is just spectacular. I like the lyrics. Of course, I know Janie wrote most of those anyway. So that was a cool song for me. Going next to Lynch Mob, Sweet Sister Mercy. I picked that as my next song. Got the Firehouse, Ought to Be a Law is what I end up picking for that. And then, of course, at the very end, Every Mother's Nightmare. For me, it was a nightmare to try to pick a song because, once again, it's kind of like love hate of the two of the 12 album. Those two are they're just not on my radar. And there's nothing. I mean, we've actually interviewed the singer from Every Mother's Nightmare for 2 or 3 years at the very beginning of Rocket Pod, and nice guy, but it's just the music just doesn't do anything for me. But there's a song called Listen Up, and that's the one that I picked for my album. So that was my K-Tel Deep Cuts album. So yeah, I looked at it in a different way. If I could have picked the like I said, with Poison, Ride the Wind, I love that song. Of course, I would have picked Uncle Tom's Cabin. There were so many these other ones. It would have been an easy record to put together, but I just tried to make it a little different. So those are my picks.
Right on.
Cool.
All right. Well, while you were talking, I came up with a name for my album.
There you
my
go.
albums, because I said I was going to throw y'all a couple of curveballs.
Sure.
The first curveball is I did 2 albums. I got one that I'm going to call K-Tel Presents 1990 The Bangers, and then K-Tel Presents 1990 The Ballads.
There you go.
Nice.
Because
there you go. Some good ballads.
You'll understand when the second curveball comes to you because I cheated. But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
So for Poison, for the bangers, I picked Ride the Wind, and for the ballads, I picked Life Goes On. Okay. Now obviously bangers is subjective. Songs that I think are a banger, somebody else thinks are lame.
Whatever.
It is what it is.
Several of our listeners think Poison are posers, but whatever.
Selling a shit ton of music.
They were the most entertaining band on the stadium tour.
100%.
Yeah.
Except for the damn background vocals were too loud. But that's another podcast. All right, for Extreme, my banger was Get the Funk Out, and Wholehearted was the ballad.
Perfect for that. That's good. I agree with you on that one.
Slaughter, Spend My Life, banger. Fly to the Angels, ballad.
Yep.
Winger, Easy Come, Easy Go for my banger, and Miles Away for the ballad.
Okay.
For Rat, the banger is Loving You's a Dirty Job, and the ballad is Giving Yourself Away. And I think that's probably one of the only ballads that Rat has ever done.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
that I can recall. And I'm not a huge Rat fan, so it's a very good possibility. I'm dead ass wrong. Wouldn't be the first time.
Well, and I agree with you, Alan, on that, because I'm not used to their ballads, but the rest of the hard songs on there didn't do anything for me. And I heard that, and I'm like, going, you know what? Piercy sounds pretty decent on that, so that's why I chose it. Yeah. It's a tough one. Anyway.
Okay, now here comes your second curveball, because I kind of cheated a little bit.
All right.
I don't know anything off of the Every Mother's Nightmare album, so I went and I looked around for different albums from 1990. And my first pick is Damn Yankees, Bad Reputation is a banger, and High Enough as a ballad.
Okay. You don't get to do that. You're disqualified.
You're a cheater.
You're disqualified.
Yes, I knew that's what get you guys.
That album is thin. There's not a lot on there.
A lot of these records are thin.
Yeah,
they're all about this thin.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
For Cinderella, the banger I picked was Shelter Me, and the ballad was Heartbreak Station, which is the title track.
Right.
I couldn't tell you a single thing off of Love, Hate, or anything about them. So we're going to jump to Queensryche's Empire album, and I'm going to pick Jet City Woman and Silent Lucidity.
You know what? You were better off doing that, because that album, I even listened to the fucking Love is About Dope or something. It's not good. That album is just pure shit.
Now the funny thing is the whole time that I was picking these albums, I was laughing because I'm like, these guys are going to call me an asshole.
No, I love to hate that album.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason they called their band that.
Exactly.
All right, now Dennis, since you didn't pick Uncle Tom's Cabin, you can listen to my playlist, because
I will listen to that one.
That song That is my all-time favorite Warrant song.
That is a classic. That's a masterpiece out. That's a song. Masterpiece song.
Absolutely it is. Yes. And for my ballad, I picked Blind Faith.
See, I would have picked.
I thought that one was released as a single. I may be wrong.
Go on to YouTube and listen to him singing that recently. It was right before he died. He did a thing of I Saw Red with him, another guitar player, and a girl playing keyboards. And dude, it brings tears. It'll bring a tear up on me. It's fucking good. I mean, it's just spectacular. Anyway.
All right. So up next, I've got Lynch Mob, and again, Wicked Sensation is a banger. It is my favorite Lynch Mob song. And then the ballads, I'm not real familiar with a lot of their work, so I've played through that album, and that song Through These Eyes, that's a pretty good little ballad. I had really not heard it until today.
Right.
For Firehouse, I picked All She Wrote as a banger, and again, is it really a banger for this practice or whatever you want to call it? It is a banger on my list. Sure. And Love of a Lifetime is the ballad that I picked.
It's a good ballad.
And for the Don Dokken album, I picked Jealous Again by the Black Crowes for the banger. And She Talks to Angels for the ballad.
You cheating mofo. That's 3 times you cheated. You're a triple cheater.
Jeez.
Not only Gene would call you a 2-timer, you're a 3-timer.
Well,
I wouldn't even give 2-timer. That's a bad rap. You even give that song a bad rap.
Dokken, I know the radio hits or the classic rock radio hits because I really don't think they had many songs on the radio in the late 80s. Not that I can remember.
A few, not many.
Yeah,
you're right.
But Don Dokken solo, I didn't even know he'd put out a solo album.
Oh, Dokken had some really good ballads.
Yeah. Tooth and Nail. I mean, Dokken had some good stuff. But,
but yeah. And Don's voice, which I was really surprised, Don's voice on that album is still at that point was still really, really, really good.
Oh yeah, that was a 90. Bad. Yeah,
now he's like 4 registers lower. But no, back then it was still Dokken material at that point. So anyway. All right, Bill, let's hear yours.
Okay, so I'm going to open this record that I called Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow.
Right.
With Uncle Tom's Cabin. That is my first thing. I want beginning to be the beginning, and then you get that build up, and then turn that shit up as loud as possible.
Yeah.
27. Can you go to 27? Yep. Followed by Ride the Wind by Poison.
Good song.
Followed by Easy Come, Easy Go. Followed by and I like Win Some Nights off the Don Dokken record. I Stayed True to the Rules. Anyway. Whatever the rules were. Yeah, I know.
Now I believe that Dennis said no rules.
He did. You're right. He said no rules. He did.
Wasn't my topic though.
And then on every record there has to be a shitty song, right? So on each side of the K-Tel record is usually a shitty song. So I picked Love, Hate, Blackout, and the Red Room as the shitty song on the first side.
There you go. I agree with you.
Okay. So we got the shitty song over. Right? So to start the second side, when you flip it over, is my favorite Rat song, which is Shame, Shame, Shame.
That's right. You do like that. I forgot about that.
I love that song. That is my favorite Rat song.
Man, I listened to quite a bit of that album. I'm like going, man, this is just not.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to like it. I don't give a shit.
Was this her what? 4th or 3rd album?
I don't know. 35th. I don't know. Not sure. Then I went with All She Wrote by Firehouse because that's my favorite Firehouse song.
That's a good song.
And then I snuck in.
I have to interrupt you and say I'm totally surprised. I knew you were going to put Tumble and Shake on there. I just knew it, and
really?
I'm wrong. I am wrong.
I like that song too.
I know you do, and you've mentioned.
But I really like All She Wrote better.
You have mentioned that song on this show several times,
right?
Which Shake and Tumble. Yeah,
yes, I have. Which made me think that that's the one you were going to pick. So,
see, Bill can
good job,
Bill can change it up.
Fooling Alan.
He changed it up.
I'm not that predictable, damn it. Okay. Yeah, whatever. So then I picked a ballad because you have to have a ballad for this side. So I picked More Than Words by Extreme. because
it's a good song.
It's a good song.
I agree. It's a good song.
Then I went back to Cinderella. I picked the more things change off of the Cinderella Heartbreak Station record.
I'm not familiar with that album very much, so that's what I mean. I didn't.
Then I went to Wicked Sensation, and then I tried to end the record, but I couldn't because you have to have one shitty song on this side too. So
let me guess, it was by a band named Every Mother's Nightmare.
Is Love Can Make You Blind by Every Mother's Nightmare. Sorry, Rick Rule. You were
like Rick.
You're one of our first people that we interviewed at the podcast in Nashville, the first one. Dude,
and we would have interviewed him this year, but he didn't show up till like 30 minutes before the thing was over
there.
With. No, he did. He showed up like 30 minutes before it was over with.
He did. He's on a different time zone than the rest of the world.
Anyway,
so that was my record. And actually, I did make it in. I made it into a playlist on
I did
except for Extreme, because Extreme is not on Apple.
Oh, it's on Spotify. So you can do that.
And I'm going to make a YouTube playlist out of both of mine.
So I don't know how to do that.
La-di-da. So if I can figure out how to share that to our page, I will do my K-Tel Deep Cuts 1990, and I've got them listed in my order too. So
I called mine Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow, because when I looked at it, after I looked at the list and I looked at the next couple of years after that, because I went back and looked, I'm like, man, that was pretty much.
We were at the
decline
end of the rope, decline of
started to fall off the wagon there.
It was fun. Well, there you go. I enjoy doing that though. I'm glad you brought that up because I like not necessarily talking about that, but I like putting together these lists and everybody getting their little thoughts on how to do it. If it's
so like, the challenge is to take those 12 albums and come up with your own.
Yeah.
And then let us know and
pick 9 of them and then get 3 different albums.
Or if you're K-Tel, you'd put like fucking 24 albums, 24 songs on there.
I have something to share. I do. No, I have something to share. So my son Max was in Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys know, Myrtle Beach was where the Kiss coffee shop was, right? You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I was there right before it opened, which is horrible, but years ago. But was there, and there's a 70s and 80s store there, and he bought me this. You can't see it very well.
But
it's a Gene Simmons Mr. Potato Head.
I can see it. That looks cool.
That is awesome.
I've never seen one of those.
I have a different kind, but not like that. So it's called Pop Taters. Pop Taters.
I've never seen one of those. That's cool.
And I'd open them. Let me open it. I'll take it out of the package for you.
No, you're
just
not.
Kidding.
So is it in the actual building where the old Kiss coffee house was?
Oh, no. And it wasn't a Kiss store. It was a 70s and 80s store or something like that. Some kind of
Kiss coffee houses are done, right? They're gone.
That lasted like
for years,
5 years or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't
where were they? They were at Virginia Beach was one of them.
I only knew about the one at Myrtle Beach. I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach is in Virginia. It's in Virginia, right? Myrtle Beach is Virginia.
No, it's in South Carolina.
Or South Carolina. You're right. I've never been there, but I thought it was over that way.
Apparently, you've never seen it on a map either.
I've been to that coast, and I went to Emerald Island. Okay, so I've been there. I've been to Savannah, and I've been to Emerald Island.
Savannah, Georgia?
Savannah, Georgia.
Or Savannah, South Carolina?
Savannah, Georgia.
Because there's Savannah, South Carolina.
I know. No, I've been to the real. And I went to Paula Dean's fucking restaurant and her brother's restaurant. Stood in line for like fucking 2 hours.
I went to that in New Orleans. Where the hell are you?
That's where
I'm not kidding. With Paula Dean's in New Orleans.
Well, no, she's got one in Smokies too. It's just her original restaurant is in Savannah.
So we're going from Gene Simmons to Paula Dean. Good night, y'all.
Did you guys? Can I just bring this up real quick? Because I know you're wanting to wrap this up. This is the funniest shit ever.
Click.
I just saw this on the internet, and then I ended up Kelly 20 minutes later sent it to a bunch of us. We were watching. There is a lady down in Georgia or something like that.
If you're going to talk about the meth deer, that is a parody site.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Oh, that's sad. I was hoping it was real because
I'm going to tell you what. I'm glad it is a parody because after reading that, I would probably go kill that lady.
But I know, but the thing is, because Kelly's like, there are people that are so crazy. Because so if you haven't seen it, the parody site says this lady picked up these fawns and then she was training him to kill hunters.
Deer hunters.
So she was giving them methamphetamine.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Like they had a picture of her house. They had a picture of her like mugshot. I'm like, this got to be real. It's on the internet.
Oh my God.
That is a parody website though. I'd seen it earlier too.
I got to tell Kelly that.
And somebody had pointed out that was satire, not parody, satire.
It's so funny though.
And regardless of what it is, y'all visit Ages of. Oh, before I say that, make your own K-Tel record. Yes. Post it in the comments on our YouTube or on our Facebook, or send us an email, contact@agesofrock.com. Go to agesofrock.com and find out our social media links. Look for our past episodes. And until next time, y'all peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.